Hello, man. Hello, Mgtows. I know it's been a while, but I wanted to check the sound here first and see. I know it's been a while. There we go. Okay, check this out. Okay, sounds okay, and everything's okay. And it's been a while since I made a video, and there's reasons for that, and everything, and everything, and everything, and everything, and but mostly my concerns for Mgtow and what I see around Mgtow and everything. Today we're going to talk a little bit about one of the problems here on YouTube. But I always assume there's problems on YouTube. Let me get my glasses right here. There we go. We're going to talk about invisibility. We're going to talk about anonymity, but we're going to do it through a philosophical look at things. It's an old story. It's by Glaucon. It's Plato's brother. Plato's older brother was Glaucon. He wrote a story about the ring of invisibility. It's Gyges. It's the story of Gyges. He's a shepherd in service of a King Lydia, and he found a ring. He goes down into a cave, and he traverses down into a cave, and he's looking around and see what he finds. He finds a giant, and the giant is wearing a ring, and the ring he puts it on, and he's fiddling with the ring, and he finds out when he puts the ring one way, he becomes invisible, and that's sort of what happens here on YouTube. We can use avatars, we can use pictures that reflect ourselves, or reflect. We're supposed to use avatars or pictures that reflect how we feel about our personality and everything. And invisibility, it sort of gives us this cloak of invisibility. And but how do we use that? With Gyges, Gyges gets a cloak of invisibility, and it's about the dark side of human nature. The dark side. We all have a dark side. I was talking on one of the chats earlier, and I says, and they brought up someone was lying, and they were lying so obviously they were getting caught in their lies. And I said, well, the rule number one is to simplify your lies so you always remember them, and that's pretty much true in life. And they said, well, just tell the truth. And I says, well, everybody lies. Everybody has this dark side. And the dark side of human nature takes over every once in a while, and we do things that we're not proud of, but we're not really ashamed of, and little white lies and stuff like that. And but I started thinking about the ring of invisibility and anonymity on YouTube and everything. What if you had a ring of invisibility? And it was a question that I perplexed over for a while. When I was reading a book, and then they asked a question, and I wasn't really prepared to answer the question, and I thought, and I really didn't have he says, what would you do? Gyges killed the king and took over the kingdom. Some people would say, I'm going to go down and I'm going to rob a bank. Or some people would say, if you're a simp, you're going to go, I'm going to go, molest some girl or watch her take a shower or something like that. And them are the obvious things. But when it came to being a Mgtow for a while, I really didn't have an answer to that. I was thinking, well, I could do a video stream and be invisible, and that would be just my voice. And I thought, well, that's what it's like being anonymous on when you just use an avatar and you don't show who you are, your characters, your hand movements, and most of the time your facial movements, and it tells you how you feel about things. And 86% of how we relate to other, how we don't verbalize it, we show hand movements and emotions and stuff. And it's so helpful to see somebody when they're talking about these things. What would you do? And if you ask this question, and I found that as a Mgtow, I didn't really want to do anything with that. I didn't think I was going to rob a bank. I didn't think I was going to go diddle some woman, or I didn't think that I was going to, we've seen the movie, The Invisible Man lately, and he was obsessed with a female. It asks us questions, moral questions about what we do and who we are. And I really didn't have an answer for that. It took me a while. I had to stop the audiobook I was listening to, and I had to, And then he gave some suggestions. What would you do? Would you rob a bank? Would you, take the train for free? Stuff like that. What would you do if you were? And I really didn't have being a Mgtow for so long and trying to keep control over a lot of these things that we do. And I didn't have a moral thing that I wanted to do. But daily in Mgtow, and daily on YouTube, we see the cloak of invisibility. We see avatars, and daily I have to deal with these comments. You always get the comment from the guy that just started a new account just so he can say something to you that's casually cruel. Would you do casually cruel things? And that's the question I ask. As a Mgtow, we're supposed to get control of our take introspections and get control of them male feelings, like we're over sexualized all day every day since we're little kids, and we get control of those, and we can see a different perspective on what you would do. Most of the simps would say, oh, I'll go out and I'm gonna watch blah blah blah, take a shower, and then that's all they think. They're over sexualized, so that's how they think. But in YouTube, when you get these little comments that are casually cruel, and they can do those comments because they're hiding behind a cloak of invisibility, the avatar. Michael Foucault talked about this. Even before the internet, he looked at what the internet was going to bring, and he talked about the author, and he talked about avatars, in which he calls cognomen, and he talked about when you're writing a book, you make up this cognomen, and the cognomen reflects your personality, and that's what an avatar is. It should reflect your personality, unless you come on like this and you cut through all the mustard, and you show everybody who you are. And we're pretty honest when we do things like this, face to face and talking to you guys. I have to project a bit of honesty when I do this, because everybody, I'm not gonna do that. I can't get away with those things of saying bizarre things and being casually cruel. I have to take accountability, because I am I self-dox myself. I say here I am, this is what I am. I'm a normal guy. I'm a normal person, and I've been a normal person all my life, and I just so chose to take the Mgtow path. But when we get attacked, these people they're hiding behind this ring of invisibility. And I always thought it was kind of cowardice. It was cowardice, and it's weak-minded. And I look at these people that, if you're a Mgtow producer, and another, Hank the Man says, someone called me a barking horse. And another, that casual cruelty that's provided by hiding behind or making it. I see it all the time. They make a brand new account just so they can come and say something really casually cruel to me, which they wouldn't do in real life. That's why I do this for you. I show myself in real life. No sane man would walk up to me and say something casually cruel for fear of, who I am and what I do. I think I'm very honest with this thing. But in Mgtow, we have thousands of accounts now, and thousands of accounts that they're unaccountable for they're unaccountable. We see this a lot in the social justice world. People are being held accountable for what they say. But in here, there's sort of this hypocrisy between these Mgtow producers that hide behind an avatar, and then they'll go after the social justice warriors and complain about the same thing. It's the same thing. It's there's no accountability. They'll say, well, no, you're not taking accountability for your actions either, hiding behind a avatar. I get attacked like twice a week now. I haven't even made any videos, and I get attacked like twice a week. It's rather ridiculous. Generally, for my opinion about fatherhood and about those things. And if you guys have a topic, I just thought I would start off. I have two topics on my head today, and I was just going to go with them. But if you guys have a topic and you want to talk about something, I always say feel free to put it in the if you have a thought, put it down and ask me. And if people want to come in, they're always invited to come in. Some days I'm very pleasurable, like today, and you can come in and talk to me, and we'll talk about anything you want to talk about. And that's about it. But most people won't do that. Here, let me put this stream up if anybody does want to come up. There's the link for the stream. I'll put it up, and we'll talk about the cloak of invisibility. It just starts. It really goes down to when people do this and they do the casual cruelty. It goes down to the dark side of human nature, and I wanted to talk a little bit about the dark side of human nature and what you would do, because in that question, when we ask, what would you do if you were invisible, people tell on themselves. It's a simple question to ask friends and family, and if they say, oh, I would go diddle this girl over here, or I would go rob a bank, or I would go they're telling about their ambitions. They're telling about the things that they would do, and they would do to you too. I mean, in Mgtow, this is a question we should ask. You should ask all your friends, because like I always say, trust friends, but verify your friends. Verify their integrity, so you know that they're not going to steal from you. You know that they're not going to treat you bad. You know when they're being casually cruel to you. I hate being people that think they can get away with being casually cruel to somebody else. It's one of my things. We talked about it for years. After Dougie died, we talked about don't kick a dog. That's how I judge my friends. If you're the kind of guy that would kick a dog or yell at a dog or yell at children, or you can't be my friend. I do these things. And around Mgtow here too, if you're the kind of person that does those things, you can't be my friend here. And I used to have more people blocked than I had actual subs. I looked down one day, and there was more people blocked than I had actual subs. I'm particular about who I hang around with, their intelligence level, what they think, their morals, and that stuff. But today I was confronted with someone hiding behind an avatar and doing those casual crew things that they were doing. I had to ask myself, what would make someone like that think that a woman would want them? What would make someone like that think that you could be that kind of casually cruel and have friends in life? And these are the people that are always complaining about, why these girls don't like them. Ooh, boo hoo, they're the incels and they're the TFLers. It's just fix your personality, and people will like you, and that will be both sexes. And then it's up to you to fix to take that introspection that we talk about in Mgtow, to fix your character defects, so you're a nicer, better person to be around. And that's what we do in Mgtow, is we fix those things. We take an introspection deep down into our souls, and we make ourselves men above reproach. If someone said I did this or I did that, my friends would just laugh. You go, Joe, really? You're talking about Mr. Purity. And that provides you with you're not going to end up like Harvey Weinstein or getting accused of Me Too things if you're not a person that would just laugh if they said that. Some guys you can really imagine them doing things like that by their character. But if you were given that, and I want you all to stop and think about that for a second, if you were given that cloak of invisibility, that ring of Gyges, what your thought? Do you have no thoughts about that? Would you go, oh, I don't know what I would do. I walk around the neighborhood invisible and just look at people. It's like, if that's your answer, you're probably a pretty moral person. If the first thing that comes to your head, or your buddy, ask your buddy. If the first thing that comes to his head is robbing a bank, or it tells about his needs in life, it tells you about he's overwhelmed with bills, it tells you about the way he directs his life, if his thought is about, I'm going to go watch Susie Q down the street in the shower, it's telling you about the moral, his dark side, what he would do. And it's pretty telltale. A lot of friends, I would hesitate I'm like, really? Is that what you would do? And a lot of Mgtows I find when I ask this question, what would you do with that ring? They go, I don't know. I mean, my life's pretty good. I'm a Mgtow. I don't need for a lot. I don't have these urges anymore to do these things, that I used to do when I was a younger man or without Mgtow. I used to make decisions without making Mgtow decisions about character and quality of the male and everything. So that was a topic that I just wanted to bring up today and float that by you guys and see how that is. And then the other topic was I started looking down about what is Mgtow, and I hear the constant Mgtow is a philosophy, and I'm going my own way. And then they start with that going my own way thing, and I can believe what I want, Joe, because I can have religious philosophy, and that could be Mgtow philosophy. No, that's not Mgtow philosophy. Philosophy is not that. Philosophy is not a way of life. Philosophy is not a bunch of theories that you put together in your mind and do that. Philosophy is not a wish or a belief. It's an active activity. That's why I always say philosophy is an activity, and Mgtow is an activity because it is a philosophy. It's a quest for wisdom. Philosophers have activities they do in thought processes, and philosophy is not your personal beliefs on how to diddle women, or philosophy is not picking and choosing what body of thought you have on your own, and what one would do in one's own philosophy. It's not an individual thing. It's philosophy study, and it's learning the philosophers, and it's developing an idea that's cohesive, and getting a word list that's cohesive, that we all know the word list. It's practical and it's theoretical, and it's analytical and sometimes synthetic. It's logical and it's empirical. It's all those things. It's the truth for wisdom. It's an activity. It's being critical about everything I see in this world. Philosophy is not a personal belief, a wish, or a thing. Philosophy, Christianity is a belief. It's not a philosophy. You believe in these things. You believe in a magical creature in the sky that guides your life and stuff. You have the right to do that in America. In some countries, you have a right to believe in those things, but it's not a philosophical belief. In Christianity and a philosophical belief don't go hand in hand. You have to ask the questions. There's logical and critical questions that come up as philosophers. We don't contradict ourselves. There's irrevocable meaning in the words that we use, like epistemology and metaphysical and stuff like that. We all use the same language. It's coherent. And there's relations to things in single frameworks and frameworks we put out there, and we ask questions, and we're critical of ourselves. We do a self-critical analysis of ourselves. We do this in Mgtow. When we do our introspections, we're self-critical of ourselves, and it teaches us about the people we used to be, the simps and the stuff. What is philosophy? What is a philosophy? It's not your personal beliefs or the way you would like the world to be. It's not PUA. PUA is not a philosophical movement because that's just a lifestyle. It's not how you personally believe things work. It's there's a lot of things that we have empirical criteria, and it's got to be adequate. It's got to be acceptable to pass certain bars and tests. But basically, Mgtow is a philosophy that's just like any other philosophy. It starts with deconstruction. You can call it by any words you want. A philosophy in Mgtow, we deconstruct the world that we live in. We're asking critical questions about it, and then we reconstruct a world that works better for us based on truths that we come onto. And that's a philosophy. It's a lot of hard work. It's studying the pundits. It's studying the old philosophers, and you got to do a lot of reading. I generally read 2 books a week, mostly saying the same thing. I mean, existentialism, nihilism, deconstruction, skepticism. It all starts with one thing. It starts with asking questions about the world you live in, the society that you live in, the political, structures in which you live in. And one of the things we ask questions about is the questions about God, and we ask questions about religion and whether they're telling us the truth. And most of the time, we find out that these things don't hold up to critical examination. And whatever philosophy you do, it works out in the same way most of the time. It starts with deconstructing the world you live in, and then reconstructing the world you live in, so you can be critical of those things, so you can find out the truth. The only way to find out the truth is ask critical questions about these things. Even yourself, too. We do that introspection into ourselves as Mgtows, and we're asking critical questions about ourselves. Was I a simp? That's a hard thing to get over. Yeah, I was. At one time in my life, I had to get over that. Was I over-sexualized? Yeah, I was. Was I thinking about these things wrong? Was I thinking about girls wrong? Was I thinking about marriage wrong? Yes, I was. I was thinking about all those things. And those things lead to me having a better understanding that keeps me safer and risk-free in the universe that I live in. Mgtow is not about independence. It's not about being this different person. It's not about. I often say that it's a group project. Like Mgtow is men, plural, going their plural own way. It refers to the group and how we think about it. The philosophy comes from the group. I see that so screwed up, and I'll go, I'm a man going my own way. No, you can't have a personal philosophy in Mgtow, because Mgtow is a philosophy. It's like any other philosophy. It's like existentialism or nihilism or skepticism. It starts with deconstruction. You look at the world that you live in. We're lied to. They say it all the time. We hear it in Mgtow all the time. I was lied to as a child about about gender dynamics. Most of it has to do with gender dynamics, sociology. And then I hear people complaining about sociology. Well, you're doing sociology. Yes, bridges don't fly. You can never untake the truth, too. Once you find the truth, then it becomes a certain truth that's reliable, that you've questioned. You can't unknow that. I see a lot of people trying to unknow that. So the truth is hard, too, sometimes, unless we're willing to do a process of finding the truth. And when you find the truth about yourself, I was a simp. I was a white knight probably at one time. I was a pea bagger at one time. I was all these things. Once you find those things out, you correct them, because that's how you find out about truth. But like I said, those are unfriendly observations. And so many Mgtows nowadays are afraid to do the unfriendly observations about the beliefs that they have. And belief is not philosophy. Your individual belief on how you wish the world were. It's not wishes, and that'll lead you down to fantasy fiction world, which I talk about, or finalized fictionalism. We do that all the time. That's probably one of the things that got us into the trouble, which brought us to men's rights, that brought us to Mgtow. Is I built this fantasy fiction world around myself that was based on Christianity and Disney fairy tales about this perfect woman, and I was going to have this perfect family, and it all came tumbling down, and I had to deconstruct those thoughts, and it was hard too. It was hard getting over that. I wanted a new family. I wanted some people to love me like that. I wanted to be, that guy, but all that fell to pieces. And I could no longer live that way, because you can't live in that world too long. But I do see men they live in that world all their life, and it's sad. I see them at the restaurants and the bars and friends, and when we talk, and they're always sipping. Boo hoo! I don't have a women in my life, and I have to get a new one. It's like, God, didn't you ever spend some time with yourself? You ever learn yourself? I always said the biggest crime in this world you can do to yourself is get old and not know yourself. That way we see people dying and they're screaming out to the universe, who am I? Who am I? And that's sad. A whole lifetime wasted. I think if there is this ultimate entity, electrical entity, or this one in this thing, that would be the biggest crime. If you go before that thing, he would go, you spent a whole lifetime and never learned who you were. That would be the biggest crime. And in Mgtow, that's what we do. We search for ourselves. We have a philosophy that search for truths in this world, and we put them in place in an order that works out where I'm risk-free from all the absurdity that I see out there. And we can talk about that, and we can complain about all that absurdity all day, and we do. We notice it. Mgtow's notice it in almost every video I watch. They're explaining some absurdity they see in the world that's comparative to their thinking, their thought process. And sometimes that thought process is pretty bizarre. It's like, what they wish, they tell on themselves what they wish is they want to go back to Disney fantasy world and Pixar where everything's perfect, and they live in this finalized fictionalism that they build in their head. And when that comes tumbling down, it's like, wow, that smashes their world. They have these existential angst. And then they do nothing with that. They just go and rinse and repeat and do the same thing again. I'll go get another girl. This one will be perfect. I just made a mistake. No, you didn't make a mistake. You made the best decision with the information provided to you at the time, but that information hasn't changed, and you're about to make the same mistake again. Man. But so that's what Mgtow is. It's not a personal belief or a wish, or it's not religious. It's religion is so when Sandman hurled the word monk onto us, he was talking about the dialectic problem in Mgtow. There's the person that's wholesome and honest, the Mgtow, over on one side, and on the other side, he was talking about the libertine. He wanted to be libertine in his thinking. They diddle dolls, and they want to think about the girls as objects. They want to be libertine, and they want everything to go their way. They're just drawing up another fantasy fiction world that they can live in, and that will eventually come tumbling down. I've been drinking a lot of water lately I've been bike riding, and it's been so fulfilling lately. The weather has been perfect, usually around 78 here in sunny Ohio, where all the men are handsome and all the women are beautiful. Riding around, and I've been just drinking a ton of water. I bought a new Culligan system, and I filter all my water, double filter it, but then I have to add salt and stuff like that because it filters out all the minerals that I need. But it's been a great summer, and I've been enjoying myself, and I think I found a peace in this world with Mgtow, and I've been reading a lot. I bought a few dozen books, and it's like Mgtow just provides you with this peace. And I go down to the park, and I built a new electric bike, and I gave one away to someone that was in need of an electric bike. And I thought that was my altruism. That was my truism in life, who I am and what I do, and how I keep myself honest and alms. That's my alms and to this world. But there's a lot of questions we ask here in Mgtow how we can become better men and everything. And it's about being honest, asking yourself the difficult questions. What would you do if you had that cloak of invisibility? And if your answers are, I'd go diddle a girl, or I'd want to spy on somebody, or I'd want to rob a bank or something like that, them are all questions that tell on your needs and how you're willing to do that. And them are questions you should ask yourself. If you have no clue what you would do with it, I would just walk around the neighborhood and just watch people and just, not do anything immoral, then you're probably a Mgtow. You don't have you've tackled all your Mgtow needs. You've tackled all your needs as a male. You've tackled through that sexual thing that inundates us as humans. You've worked through that. You worked through a lot of problems. And I think that provides you with solitude. And what is freedom? Freedom is solitude. You get that Mgtow freedom. Some people mistake freedom for the ability to do what they want, as they mistake a philosophy for their personal philosophy. Some people are just narcissistic in their mannerism. They only think about what they want. What is true freedom? Freedom is solitude. Solitude provides you with the ability to make decisions for yourself. And tackle all those things and have what you want in this life, and develop into the kind of person you want to see when you look into a mirror. And that's where your joy will come at. You're not chasing the girls. You're not having impure thoughts. You're not... most of the thing, I don't even like talking about the feminist thing, because it's not important to me anymore. I don't care what they do. I don't care what anybody does in this world. I have no F's left to give about things in this world. I just care about whether I'm happy anymore, whether I'm doing the right things, and that'll be provided by the morality and the introspection I take of myself. And when I read, I generally ponder those subjects, and I develop a philosophy that's scientific in nature and biological in nature. We talked about fatherhood. We give all the biological things that people don't generally look at, but those are hard truths too. The Christians will tell you just man up and pull yourself up by the bootstraps and get 2 jobs and take care of society and everything. That's so hypocritical. And my thoughts about that they're one of in their own book that they read from, one of their hypocrisies is chasing their alms. We naturally give alms to taxes to take care of things in society, and then they chase those alms, and they say, "Oh, you men, you're just being bad men," and then these alms, and we look at these things, and what if you looked at it from an uncontacted group? What would religion look to you as uncontacted? If you didn't know, that's the question I asked. There's a lot of uncontacted people before, and in South America, generally sub-equinox areas in this world. Northern areas were inundated with Christianity, and it's hard to be non-contacted. If they came, what were they bringing to your society? They're bringing a government based on these rules, which is based on their idea of a God, and their government is going to run these things for you and give you this morality. But before that, most societies were just very polygamous, and there was polyandry, and the community took care of the women. And those, if the woman was decent and honest and she got pregnant, the community all took care of her. And that's the way we do it too, halfway. We have Health and Human Services, and that's the community. All men, like I say, all men are pre-cucked. We all pay taxes for those things, and then we expect that our government's going to take care of the women and the children for us if they fall out of their moral standings, or they fall into difficult places, we can correct those things and take care of them. We're all do that. We're all pre-cucked, but then the Christians chase their alms down through that path. I talked about the two tenets of barbarism and polyandry, and then they let the girls do polyandry, but they hold the men morally responsible in a monogamous way. And when I talk about this, you have to be monogamous to your family for the rest of your life financially, but we've already paid those taxes, so the government should do what they say they were going to do, but they steal it. That's where I come up with we can go into Durkheim and stuff like that about a social fact. The government takes their cut and nothing rolls down to the people we supposedly paid the taxes for. And then they double tax the men, and they make them feel shame about not taking care of I took care of my family. I paid taxes. That was supposed to take care of all the families. But until Christianity inundated this thing, and then they violated their own morality by chasing their alms, it becomes very hypocritical of the Christians to get out there. Oh, those baby mamas. Well, hey, we all pay taxes for those problems. We're all, we all give our support for that. But most of the time, the government agents and the Christians, and they steal back, and then they complain about about this world of Health and Human Services, and they don't even see the hypocrisy in their own religion. It just drives me crazy. So religion and Mgtow, there was a video made today about religion and Mgtow. No, religion and Mgtow blend like oil and water. There's a certain hypocrisy, a governmental hypocrisy in that. So I just wanted to stop by today and, bring a little logic to these Mgtow fools, which, I mean, there's a lot of foolishness around, and, it gets hard, and that's why I don't do a lot of Mgtows, because I don't like to take the comments. I don't have to take the comments anymore, the casual, cruel comments of some guy with an invisible cloak of the avatar calling me names, from afar, and they have not even a little bit of honesty to put their own image up to show people what they are. I'm a philosopher. These things I think about. I'm a pretty decent and honest guy. But as you're hiding behind that cloak of invisibility, well, you can do immoral things, but you're just telling on yourself when you do those little bits of casual cruelty, or you make a sock puppet. And those are the things that slowly brought me out to self-dox myself, because I seen that there was some hypocrisy in the Mgtow philosophy about even that. Would you watch a newscaster on TV? Like if Tucker Carlson just had a Tucker Carlson with this happy picture of this beautiful person, would you just watch that if you didn't know the real Tucker Carlson? No, you wouldn't. You go, that's ridiculous. But we do this. I always said in YouTube, if you wanted to do videos, you should have to show yourself. You should have to be honest, and that takes care of all the ridiculous ridicule that you get from the peanut gallery and the anti-Mgtows and there, because they'd never show themselves because they're cowards, and it's cowardice. And that's all I see. I see a few brave men that come out, and I see too little philosophy in Mgtow, and I don't even know if most of these people have any idea what they're talking about most of the time. And then I see religion inundating it, and other groups and politics and alt-righters, and they all want to push their personal philosophies on you, as if someone told me if I wasn't an alt-righter and a Republican, I couldn't be uh, I couldn't be a Mgtow. I'm thinking, man, I'm a transcendentalist, pretty much the smallest marginal group of people, in the political sphere. Usually we carry about 2% of the vote, the transcendentalists. It's like, I can't be a transcendentalist and be like Thoreau is a transcendentalist, he was a pretty smart guy too. And but no, I was not allowed because I wasn't a Trumpite, and I don't believe in certain things, and I use logic and stuff like that, and then you get it from the other side. You ain't an American if you don't believe in Hillary Clinton, and that's just ridiculous. And then from the far left side, it's like, no, I'll just be what I want to be. I think I'm very unique in that. I'll be my transcendentalist self. So we get all these weird ideas and MGTOWs of other people's wishes and beliefs that get pushed on you, which aren't philosophies at all. And that's why I wanted to explain what a philosophy is today. It's not your personal wishes or beliefs. It's hard study and activity, the same as MGTOW. You hard study, you do a hard look at yourself, you do the activity of learning, you read the books, and then you develop a philosophy that's pretty cogent and cohesive, and it's pretty much what Kierkegaard would say, or Hughes, and it's pretty much what Nietzsche would say, or Camus, or Michael Foucault, or your favorite, whoever it is, whether it's nihilism or existentialism or skepticism or deconstruction, whatever you choose, they're all the same, and you should identify they're all the same. But there's little differences about what we believe. We could talk about those things. The incommensurability of words and how we use them differently, logistics and stuff like that. But them are topics to be looked at critically. And when you do your Mgtow, you have to ask yourself critical questions about yourself. But that's where you're going to run into people that balk, and they conservatively balk on these. It's a conservative bias. They'll go back to what they believe. We just need to go back to the 50s. Oh. Yeah, the past is gone. It does not exist anymore, and your future is uncertain. All you have is right now. You could develop a future by doing the correct things now and looking into the past, and we can't go back, and there's too much water under the bridge. Them things are absurd to me. But I've gone on for 43 minutes when I've just really come around to talk about, like, just to say hello to my friends and around here and all you guys, and just say, Mgtow's been a really good experience in my life. I hope it's been a really good experience in your life, but you have to make it so. So 43 minutes, and I don't want to ramble on. I used to be able to go on for hours and hours and hours and hours and do that thing, but I care not to do it anymore, because more and more in Mgtow, there's less and less understanding of actual Mgtow philosophy. And that's all I wanted to say, and come by and say, hey Mgtows, and thanks a lot for being a Mgtow. I'm going to end this thing. Get out there and enjoy the summer. And if you're having summer, or enjoy the winter, do something for yourself, and put yourself first for maybe the first time in your life, and have some Mgtow thoughts and investigate the world you live in, because you only get one chance. And hopefully at the end of that one chance, you'll know who you are. And that's what Mgtow's about. Thanks a lot, and have a great day. Thanks for being Mgtow. Mgtow.